Now, one of the challenges that we face here with the different types of friction is that if you have something and you do it over and over, if you have a type of friction and you repeat the process one time after another, it begins to create one of these structures, one of these hard wirings. Okay, if it's physical, it's that muscle memory where you're used to just moving and doing the same things. If it's emotional, it's one emotion that triggers another and another. If it's mental, it's one thought that triggers another thought and another thought. Because remember, 99% of what you did, felt, and thought today are the same things you probably did, felt, and thought yesterday. Okay, we're just creatures of habit, and we do these things. We might mix them up, and they might trigger each other just a little bit differently, but we're essentially like a train on these rails. And we don't even realize just how much we're on these rails and we're doing the exact same thing one after another. If you've had a lot of friction in your life and a lot of internal conflict, it has created a structure in there that automatically triggers itself. It's like a set of dominoes. You push one of them over and it just starts pushing all the rest of them over. And so friction can become a habit. Inner conflict can become a habit. If you've got, a process where every time you think a certain thought, it makes you feel this feeling of guilt, and then you kind of slump over and you start breathing shallow, and then it makes you trigger all these other thoughts, and then you worry about all this other stuff. Eventually, that's going to become a hardwired process. And then all it takes is the little trigger, and it sets off the whole thing. So inner friction can become, very damaging if you let it keep going. And what we want to do is we want to clear this stuff away. We want to streamline the whole process. We want to get these conflicts out of ourselves. So I ask you right now, can you think of any structures that you've created inside of yourself that are like a push button where you push the button and it triggers the feelings, the actions, the thoughts, maybe even the communication? You have any of those in your life? You might want to make a little note of what they are right now and start becoming conscious, so that when one gets triggered, you can stop, pause, take a deep breath, and kind of divert over into another direction there. You saw me right here do this little move where I kind of went, okay, right here. In neuro-linguistic programming, they have lots of different exercises, and they're just little mind games. They're little things that we do to play with the way that we perceive things, all right? And one of the things that I do sometimes is I try to draw it's just a mental exercise. I try to draw my energy back in when I feel like it's all scattered, or I try and center myself. And I find that aligning my body and centering everything right here makes me feel really centered, all right? There's no weird significance to it. It just really does make me feel centered when I do that. So for you, when you start to feel some friction, something comes up and you feel yourself going, oh, no, darn it. Stop and go, oh, okay. Maybe just feel your feet on the ground, feel your hands, stop, take a breath, and you don't need to go down that road. You can create your own diversion mechanism where instead of just pushing that button and triggering all of that internal friction, you stop, you center, and you kind of come back. This can be amazing. This can save you so much energy. It can give you so much more of that willpower that you're burning off with these things. So notice when you have a structure that has been built and created by inner friction, and just notice what triggers it and start to divert.